Hello again. Yes, my Lord of the Rings series is over, but I did say there might be another video, kind of on the side, coming up. This is it.
For this one time, I'm going back to my original intention to react to the reactions. Sort of. Many, if not most, of the reactors have a tendency to ask questions which they don't seem to realize the camera can't answer. Answers will be dispensed by my good friend, Professor Phineas Forganopop of Androscoggin College. These answers will be based on information contained within the movie. I will try my darndest not to call upon Professor Tolkien for assistance, although the book always makes things much clearer, but it usually contradicts the film. Well, we're going to pretend we're there with the reactors and answer the questions as if we were sitting next to them, and pretend that we're good enough friends that they won't mind a little sarcasm too much. I've chosen reactions from 5 YouTubers. Now, they're mainly what I call millennial teeny boppers. Charming young ladies in their mid-20s with emotional maturity of about 13 years old. Some are more mature than others. Interestingly, the more mature they appear, the fewer questions they ask. It's not always obvious from the questions, but if you were to watch their entire videos, you'd see what I mean. And it's interesting to note that as the film progresses, the number of questions diminishes. I don't know if that means they're getting more immersed in the story and not as concerned with trivia, or if they're actually beginning to figure things out on their own. Now, I don't want to embarrass anyone needlessly, so these young ladies are not identified. Their images are covered by cartoons. Their voices are generic enough that unless you know them personally, they're probably not really identifiable. Okay, on with the show.
I was there 3,000 years ago.
How old is he?
Elrond was born in the year 532 of the First Age. That would make him 6,520 years old by the time of the events in The Lord of the Rings.
So if you can grab the ring, do you also become evil?
Not necessarily. Depending on your innate character, you may become more susceptible to corruption and other evils, and you could become a target of Sauron, as we will see.
You know people are gonna fight over it, you idiot. Like, what are you doing? What? Oh my god, where did he go? Did he just disappear because he put it on his finger? What just happened?
What just happened? He put a magic ring on and disappeared. What do you expect? You've got to watch the movie and learn as you go, like everybody else. Don't expect everything to be spoon-fed to you at the beginning.
So it was controlling the other people? Or is it the idea that the ring wields this much power that makes people go crazy?
Well, that's pretty close. Again, it depends on the character strength of the individual.
The ring came to the creature Gollum.
Oh! Gollum, not Smeagol. Is there a Smeagol too? Maybe I meant Gollum. Is there a Smeagol? Are there 2 creatures like this?
How many ways can you ask the same question? Yes, there's Gollum and there's Smeagol, but there's not 2 creatures.
So is he human?
Keep watching. There are a lot of clues to help you figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, how did you find your way into this man's cave?
What is he doing all the way over there? Like, how does he end up in the Misty Mountains in Gollum's cave?
There's a whole book about that called The Hobbit. Now, since The Lord of the Rings was written as a sequel to that, Tolkien assumed that anyone reading this book already read the previous one and knew most of this stuff. He never dreamt that in 50 years someone would come along and make movies of those books, but in the reverse order, so that all the backstory would be inaccessible.
So hobbits exist. Whatever Gollum is exists. I wonder what other creatures exist. I saw orcs or ogres or something.
You need to read the Silmarillion to get all the creation details. There are men, elves, and dwarves, of course. These are the main races created to populate Middle-earth. There are 5 wizards, but they're quite different, and would take far too much explanation for now. Orcs, called goblins in The Hobbit, remember, that was a children's book, have a disputed origin. Now, in the film, Saruman explains that they were originally elves, with no further explanation. The Silmarillion goes into more detail.
God, he looks like Dumbledore.
He arrives precisely when he means to.
Here we go again. Gandalf does not look like Dumbledore. Dumbledore looks like Gandalf. Gandalf was created in 1937. Dumbledore in 1997, 60 years later. Gandalf is the original. Dumbledore is a cheap knockoff.
How did they make the hobbits so small? Like, especially next to, like, the large creatures, the average-sized humans? Elves? Wizards? I don't know.
I often have a bizarre urge to explain this, so I'm glad you asked. Now, here's a little feature I put together called How to Make Hobbits.
Thanks, Professor. Questions often arise about how Jackson and company made full-size adults look like hobbits. Actually, it's embarrassingly simple. There's just a few techniques. They're quick, easy, and cheap. First, just hire hobbits. Well, real-life dwarves. Sorry, little people. The 4 hobbits and Gimli all had what were called scale doubles, who stood in for them on medium and long shots where the characters were close together, like walking across the pass at Garadras. Costumes, wigs, makeup, presto, undetectable doubles. Then there's a few methods that can be grouped together as camera tricks or optical illusions. The main one is a technique called forced perspective. Now, it's been used by artists for literally hundreds and hundreds of years. Even if you don't know the name, everybody knows the effect. An item closer to the viewer looks bigger than one further away. My darling wife and I took a few pictures in the backyard to show how it works. Now, picture 1 is us together at the same distance. In picture 2, I've moved closer to the camera and became menacingly huge, while my wife moved further away, becoming even more hobbit-sized than she already is. And picture 3 reverses our positions, giving her an opportunity to actually look me right in the eye. Except, of course, I was 20 feet away. Obviously, I didn't take the time to correct the lighting and match shadows and all that stuff, but you get the idea. Now, this technique can be enhanced by some creative set building. Gandalf's cart at the beginning is actually 2 half carts, built to different scales and placed one behind and to the side of the other. The whole thing is placed on the back of a flatbed truck, with the camera pointing in from a corner. Now that, plus Gandalf's robes, hide the join between the two. Or versions of the Alan Ladd technique. The character who's supposed to be tall can stand on a box or platform, or those who are supposed to be short can stand in a hole or trench or just kneel. And third is the ever-popular green screen. An object or actor is recorded in front of a plain green background, and in the editing computer is layered over whatever background you wanted. Now, as you can see, I was enjoying Bilbo's birthday speech. You can see this effect on a lot of YouTube videos you see these days. The fourth is the most complicated and expensive, and that's computer graphics, or CGI for short. As you would expect, that means everything is created in the computer. However, this can be combined with a green screen to place a character in an imaginary location, or pretty much any other scene from the Battle of Five Armies. So now you know.
Also, why has no one written about the ring like she's saying? Like it.
Someone did. His name was J.R.R. Tolkien. He wrote a number of books that included the ring. One was the aforementioned The Hobbit. Another was called The Lord of the Rings, which you may have heard of. Then there was The Silmarillion, which is hard to explain to the casual viewer of the movie. It's insufficient to say that it's the Middle-earth equivalent of the Bible. It's the basis for the entire lore. Yeah, Google it. The Wikipedia page alone could be a book.
How old can hobbits live?
The oldest hobbit ever recorded was 131, which was Bilbo when he sailed for the west at the end of the story. But that was only because he had the ring for 60 years. Normally, they're more like humans. 80-ish is probably a good age, but they do mature slower. They don't become, legally anyway, adults until 33.
Are you meaning to tell me they're getting high right now? Is that what's happening? Or is this like their version of hookah? I don't understand.
No, 1,000 times no. Pipeweed was, is, and always will be nothing other than tobacco. The book makes it quite clear. Jackson knew that, but obviously thought it would be fun to let the viewer jump to erroneous, ridiculous, and very juvenile conclusions. Like many confusing issues, the film doesn't mention it at all.
Does it just make you invisible whenever you want?
Didn't we already establish that with Isildur back in the prologue?
Questions that need answering.
You've only just arrived. I don't understand.
You're just gonna leave him with it? You're not gonna tell him about it?
Neither do I.
You're not gonna tell him it's gonna, like, corrupt you? Like, maybe you don't hold on to... I'm so confused.
Well, if you'd quit babbling long enough to listen, you would know that Gandalf has questions he needs answered, and he doesn't understand what's going on any more than Frodo does.
Why not destroy it? Why won't anyone destroy this ring? I mean, well, then we wouldn't have movies, I guess, so...
Back to the prologue again, when we were told that Isildur had that one chance to destroy evil. That one chance to destroy it there and then. That opportunity has not arisen again, so nobody could destroy it.
Oh, what is happening? Oh, no. Was that Gollum yelling? But that was taking place at Mordor, wasn't it? I'm so confused.
Yes, that's Gollum. And you're confused because A, you don't pay attention, and B, you don't remember what happened a half hour ago.
His life force is bound to the ring, and the ring survived.
It's a Horcrux! This is Voldemort. It's a Horcrux. He's Voldemort. Sauron is Voldemort, and the ring is a Horcrux. Oh my god.
And where do you think Miss Rowling got the idea?
What just happened? Was he like almost putting it on without even realizing it or something? Or was that him dreaming? Was he almost putting it on and he didn't even know that he was doing it? That's crazy. Oh my god.
Close. Frodo was fighting the compulsion from the ring itself to put it on, because, if you remember, which I doubt, Gandalf's warning that the ring wants to be found, and it's trying to force Frodo to put it on so that Sauron's agent, the Black Rider, could find it.
My old friend, Saruman.
Wait, so he's a wizard too?
Yes, he's a wizard too. When Frodo left the Shire, Gandalf said he was going to see the head of his order. Remember?
Is it going to be good or is it going to be bad? I think it's going to be good.
Good guess.
So they had the ring before, or different rings with the same power?
Different rings, different powers. Remember the 9 kings in the prologue?
Oh, time to cut down some trees. Some deforestation is the work they got. Why, though? Are they building another fort, maybe? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm gonna place my bets that they're building another fort.
The trees are strong, my lord. Their roots go deep. Rip them all down.
Why? Why do you need to rip all the trees down? What do you think that's gonna accomplish?
Patience, my dear, patience. All will be explained at the proper time. For now, just take it to show what a villain Saruman had become.
Why are they so clueless? Are you kidding me?
They're naive and innocent. They've never been outside the Shire. Have no idea how the world works. They'll learn. Boy, will they learn.
How did he stab him if he can't see him? Okay, so that ring really did not do anything to help them. So it just turns you invisible and that's it.
Another instance of the viewer being expected to use the subtle clues given throughout the movie to understand something, rather than explicitly being given the information. Now, it works great if you're intelligent and you pay attention. Now, when Frodo puts the ring on, he enters the in-between world that the Nazgul inhabit. Therefore, he can see them and they can see him.
Does fire destroy them?
How many did he just kill?
None. You can't kill Nazgul. All he did was destroy their accoutrements, which will be a bit of an inconvenience and lessen their power for the near future.
What are they doing? Are they torturing people? Is that a person? What is that? What is that? Is that literally, what is that? I'm gonna throw up. Is that how they give birth? Through mud? Bruh.
This is a Peter Jackson scene. There are no explanations for Peter Jackson scenes. They just are. This has no connection with any of the history or lore of Middle-earth or J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. It's Jackson's warped idea of how orcs are birthed, for want of a better term.
Is there something with water? Something with water that I'm missing?
Well, yes and no. You are missing something, but it's because it was never there to begin with.
Does she control water? She controls water? Okay, girl, get out of there.
What? Are they scared of the water? What's up with this river?
We have 2 issues to deal with here. Technically, neither one's a question, and I hesitate to get into it, but they are very important matters that people do get thoroughly confused about. So I think maybe I'd better hit on them.
I feel really bad for all the horses of those wraiths, because horses aren't evil.
The simpler of the two is just the matter of feeling bad for the horses. Now, what you're saying is that you're feeling bad for computer-generated digital images, and that's just weird. The real horses that are in the movie are specially trained stunt horses, and their value is so many thousands of dollars that no one in their right mind would subject them to any kind of real danger. Okay? So it's not going to happen. Those are CGI horses. Period.
Get out of the
The second issue is the bit about the river and water and the Nazgul not crossing it and all that. That's quite complicated. I know I promised not to invoke the book in answering these questions, but in this situation, it just can't be avoided. Now, there's this ford crossing, and there's a previous scene back at the Buckleberry Ferry where Frodo just barely jumps onto the raft and the horses come to a screeching halt on the wharf. And again, everybody just starts assuming that the Nazgul can't go into the water. There's a problem here, and that is that this is a Peter Jackson scene that's got nothing to do with the Lord of the Rings book. And like all Peter Jackson scenes, it has absolutely no background, no explanation for it. It's just whatever he felt like doing that particular day. Doesn't fit the lore at all. So there's no way of knowing from that scene that the Nazgul can't go in the water. Now bringing it forward to this scene. In the book, the river does not stop them. That slows them down a little, but that's only natural, trying to walk across the water. Now, the other problem here is that Arwen does not exist in the book. Therefore, that's not her on the bank of the river. As a matter of fact, it's just Frodo on the horse of Glorfindel, who is the elf that really came to his rescue. The river itself, since Arwen wasn't there, couldn't be under her control. Now, the river is the border of Rivendell, and as such, is under an enchantment. So the touch of the evil Nazgul on that water triggered the defense mechanisms under Elrond's guidance. That's what generated the flood. Gandalf got a little artsy there and made some of the wave tops look like white horses. Cute, but again, the entire scene is Peter Jackson's hallucination. I'm sorry. I promise, if at all possible, not to bring the book up again.
Bilbo's aged now. How did he get over here?
He walked. And he aged because he no longer has the ring.
Was that? I was there 3,000
Oh yeah, he
years
was
ago.
there. 3,000 years ago? How? You look great, man. How old do elves get? Are they just immortal?
Yes, unless they fall off a cliff or get stabbed or something. Yes, elves are immortal. And don't go acting surprised about 3,000 years. You were told that back in the prologue, if you had paid any attention or remembered any of it, both of which are doubtful.
Cast it into the fire!
Oh, it can only be destroyed there. Oh, that's why.
See, I told you.
I choose a mortal life.
You can just do that?
Not normally. This only is allowed if your direct lineage is mixed, and that's only happened 3 times in all of history. And we're going back thousands and thousands of years. It's a long story. You need to read the appendix in The Return of the King and the Silmarillion to get the details. In short, any offspring of the marriage of Beren and Luthien, a mortal male and an elvish female, had the choice of remaining elvish or becoming mortal. Over the years, stroke centuries, stroke millennia, most stayed elvish, until one man named Elros, who happened to be the brother of Elrond, decided to become mortal. He founded the country of Numenor, which is the kingdom of men from which Aragorn descended. So, in effect, Aragorn and Arwen are, something like 80th cousins or something weird like that. But only direct descendants from that original marriage have that choice. Now, Arwen's brothers chose to stay elvish and went back to the Undying Lands with their father.
Is the ring Can only Frodo hear the whispering? Because he is, like, freaking out right now.
Possibly, although it's likely Gandalf could have heard it as well, and maybe Elrond, but that's probably about it.
How does he lose it from his neck and all of that just by falling?
Good question. I don't think anyone has been able to figure that out. Oh, yes, it's a Jackson edition.
Let the ring bearer decide.
What? You let Frodo decide? He doesn't know.
Agreed. It is totally stupid. So much, in fact, that I'm tempted to break my promise again. Scenes in the book, and there are many, discussing the choice between Caradhras and Moria, totally contradict what's in the movie.
Why is the ring suddenly getting stronger? Is it because they're getting closer to evil?
I think that's been made abundantly clear.
Is this is it just a giant squid?
Oh no! Nessie's got him! What the heck? What is that? Is that the Kraken in this little pond? Cthulhu, what is it? What is that? What is that? What is it?
It's never given any name other than the Watcher in the Water. Besides, squids are saltwater creatures, and this is just a small freshwater lake. The legends of the Kraken are likely based on sightings of the giant squid in the days before that beast was officially discovered.
Wasn't this for dwarves? Why is it so tall?
For the same reason some people drive Cadillacs when a Chevy would do just as well. Just showing off.
So many other people this cave troll can go after. Why is he go after Frodo? Oh, because he senses the ring.
You're learning. Slow, but you're learning.
Why does he keep getting stabbed?
Because he has the ring. It draws evil to it.
How many times can you get stabbed in one movie?
Apparently, two.
A Balrog, a demon of the ancient world.
They have to face a demon?
His foe is beyond any other.
Oh, how did he know what it was just by listening to it?
Gandalf has been around for centuries and has traveled all over Middle-earth. He knows one heck of a lot of stuff.
Do elves not sleep?
Well, apparently not. At least not in the same manner as mortals. It has been remarked that elves can just rest their minds without having to shut their bodies down.
See, even the wisest cannot tell.
Why is she giving me such evil vibes, although she's good?
Those are not evil vibes. You are feeling power. Your confusion is understandable, though, since these days, powerful people usually are evil.
Yeah, she's evil. She had a Bilbo moment right there. Did her deepest desires just come out? So she wasn't evil because she still didn't accept the ring, but she knew that she was basically evil. She failed, basically, and should not have taken the ring, so she knew that. She was tainted.
100% wrong in all your suppositions. Now, I largely blame two factors. One is, of course, Peter Jackson. He goes to great lengths to not explain to the audience anything about the nature of elves in general, and the characters of Elrond and Galadriel in specific. He also goes to great lengths to present stunning visuals that have little to do with the original story. When Frodo offered the ring, Galadriel drew herself up straight and tall and kind of glowed. She did recite that dialogue, but did not have a, quote, Bilbo moment. By the way, neither did Bilbo. That was another Jackson scene. Now, this is not the time or place to go into deep explanation. Just believe that there is no one at all on Middle-earth less evil than Galadriel. Which is not to say she can't be tempted. She was. But she resisted, and therefore passed the test, not failed. And since you were watching the extended edition, You must be aware that she was the bearer of one of the 3 elven rings. Now, the second factor is your age. You've grown up in a world where power and evil are often synonymous. It's easy to accept that as being the norm.
Is that a mean thing to say about hobbits, halflings?
No, it's quite common among the few peoples who ever heard of them, and they use it themselves.
Do orcs not like water? Do they have a weakness?
I don't think that's ever been established. It's suggested once or twice that maybe they can't swim.
Where's Gollum in all this? Wasn't he following them? Oh. Speak of the devil.
See, have a little patience and the film will answer your questions for you.
Where is this? Where has this been filmed? Someone needs to tell me right now. I'm sure it's in different places across the world, but this is gorgeous.
New Zealand.
Isn't it like the more he uses the ring, the stronger the ring's power gets?
That's slightly backwards. The more he uses the ring, the more susceptible to its influence he becomes.
Why is he going by himself? Because he can't trust the others? Frodo has to go alone. He doesn't even know where. Oh my gosh. This is the end of everyone, isn't it? No. I thought they were all gonna do it together.
This is a hard one to respond to. Now, I had read the book maybe 7 or 8 times before the movie came out, so I had an idea of how the plot would progress. I can't quite get a feel for how someone with no background in the story at all would face this turning point. Even though both Gandalf and Galadriel had warned Frodo about unrest within the company, I can't in good conscience come down too hard on this charming young lady. However, her emotional intensity is a bit over the top. I would have preferred something more like, I certainly didn't expect that. Now what are they going to do? General Colin Powell said, "No battle plan survives contact with the enemy." Well, we've met the enemy, so it's time for a new plan.
Will burn the fires of industry. The forests will fall.
And another little clip to answer a previous question.
Deforestation, man. Why is that necessary? It's just so awful.
You seem to forget that it's Saruman doing it, and he's the villain, right?
Wait, are they going to take... They wouldn't take them thinking that they're the right hobbit.
The orcs were only instructed to bring back hobbits, without any further identification or information.
What? Well, for a second I was like, oh, is it the end of the movie? Because the way it faded. Is this a joke? That wasn't the end. That's not fair. That's not fair. So you mean to tell me that Lord of the Rings, the whole 3 films, are of this journey? I thought that it was different things happening and this was one journey. So I don't know what's gonna happen?
Yep, 1 movie in 3 parts. And yes, different things will be happening. But then they would be happening even if it was 3 separate films. And you still wouldn't know what's going to happen. You're not supposed to.
Why is he saying us?
You'll find out.
Wait a minute. Okay, no. There's no way that was Saruman. Because Saruman's mistreating the forest. Like, why would he... Is there another white wizard? I'm suspicious. I don't think that that's Saruman. There's no way. Why would they be in cahoots together? He's been trashing the trees.
Ah, not bad. Halfway through the second movie, and you're finally starting to use your head.
The red sun rises. Blood has been spilled this night.
You can see that on the sun?
Mythology, signs, omens, superstitions, that kind of thing.
It's like, he's like looking, I don't know, it's hard to tell, but it's like, is that his future, you know? Like, will the ring do that to Frodo?
Sort of. It's just the beginning. There's another scene coming up that gives that impression much stronger.
Frodo, what are you doing? Frodo! Frodo, what are you doing? What is he doing?
He's falling in the water.
Why?
Because. Why what? Again, this is a Peter Jackson scene and has no real explanation. Look, I'll make it easy for you. Anytime Frodo does something that seems a little weird or out of character, it's because of the influence of the ring, okay? No need to keep asking what and why every 2 minutes.
Gollum saved him? I did not see that coming.
Well, Gollum saved the ring. Frodo just happened to be carrying it.
Was he a human? He was a man before, wasn't he? Or was he not?
Use your head. Look at his ears, his overall size, and his feet. Now think. What did he used to be?
What? A dragon.
They have dragons that they ride?
What the f is he riding? A dragon?
A common misconception. No, it is not. In Middle-earth, a dragon is a very specific species. This is not a dragon. As a matter of fact, all the indications are the last dragon died about 60 years ago. This is referred to as a beast, and that's all.
What is happening?
Whereas me, I'm pushing 3-7. 3-8.
What is happening?
Very good. Don't drink it.
I'm so confused though. Like, is Pippin turning into a tree or not?
You can almost be forgiven for not understanding this bit. Almost. Not quite. Pippin is growing unnaturally from drinking the water from the spring in Fanghorn Forest. Granted, nowhere does it say that, but most people are able to watch this and put 2 and 2 together. No, he's not turning into a tree. You're confused because you babble instead of watching the movie.
Gandalf Greyham, by order of Grima Wormtongue.
His name is Wormtongue? Really? And yet nobody suspects, like, that maybe this guy should not be around. His name is literally Wormtongue?
No. Wormtongue is what's known as an epithet, which is a kind of a descriptive nickname, much like when Hama refers to Gandalf Greyham, which merely means Gandalf the Grey. He's still wearing the gray cloak, remember, hiding the white. Often an epithet is derogatory, which it is in this case, a name given to him because, as you point out, everyone besides the king knows what an evil influence he is.
Gandalf the Grey is coming.
It's actually Gandalf the White now. Get it right, Wormtongue?
Is Gandalf the white now? Okay, no longer gray.
Well, you know that, and I know that, but no one in the movie knows that. Except his 3 companions, of course. So don't try to pretend you know what you're talking about.
Because it's his fate.
Because I have to believe he could come back.
Well, this is the other scene that suggests Frodo is afraid that Gollum's fate could be his own.
If he betrays Liv Tyler, I'm gonna be so mad.
And if you call her Liv Tyler once more, I'm gonna be so mad. Her name is Arwen.
Why can't she be the heir?
Well, at the risk of violating 21st century social standards, it's because she's female.
You don't even want to know what they were doing there? Like, who are these guys? What? Why?
How many times have I said, stop blabbering and watch the movie? You'll find out.
You are one of the Dunedain, a descendant of Numenor, blessed with long life.
So he's not man. So he's not a man.
How do you possibly come to that conclusion? He's descended from a lineage with real good genes. The Dunedain lived longer than lesser men. Aragorn himself made it to 208.
They're already in love.
See what I mean about emotional maturity of about 13 years old? No, she's in love. He's concerned about her.
Wow. Wow. What? What? How did he jump that way?
Whoa, Legolas, are you kidding me?
No, but Peter Jackson's trying to see how gullible you are. That is totally impossible.
I know they're called like wargs or something, but I'm gonna call them hyenas because they look like hyenas.
No, they don't. This is a hyena. Actually, they look more like a grizzly bear. But knowing Saruman, it's probably some unnatural hybrid of the two. But real wargs are wolves.
Honestly, why weren't they living there the whole time?
Because it's a fortress, not a city. There's not enough room for the full population, and it doesn't have farmable lands and things like that. It's built and equipped for war.
What about him? Wait a minute. He looks so upset. What about him? What is happening?
But you have to read the book to learn about the history, the lore, and just what elves are. All things that Peter Jackson did not think were important enough to include in the movie.
Why even kidnap these guys? Like, what's the purpose?
You'll never be much of a general. Unidentified strangers wandering around in what is essentially a war zone. They are considered to be spies and will be treated as such until proven otherwise. They are not being kidnapped.
Oh, I love Sean Bean's smile. It just makes me so happy. His smile is so cute.
Another example of a 13-year-old teeny bopper. There is no one here named Sean Bean. The gentleman in question's name is Boromir. I don't know why these little girls insist on obsessing about the actors in their previous roles rather than paying attention to the characters in this movie.
What is that thing? Oh no, oh no, they're coming through the inside. I can't believe they didn't think about that being a weakness.
Explosives didn't exist until this moment. How could they guard against something that didn't exist?
For orcs not to be very smart, they definitely came prepared.
That's because the plans were made by Saruman, not by the orcs themselves.
So they're not really immortal. I mean, like, they can die from wounds and stuff. I still don't really fully understand elves.
And that is perfectly understandable. Partially because you don't pay enough attention to the movie, but mainly because Peter Jackson just didn't care enough to explain elves to the audience.
But he hadn't worn it yet. Could he feel there was something special about the ring without even touching it?
If you had paid attention to much of what Gandalf said earlier, you'd know the ring has a will of its own and the ability to find a bearer who was weak enough to take control of easily.
Also, what exactly is Smeagol? Is he a human? He's not a hobbit, is he? What was he?
Take a look at his ears, his overall size, and his feet. Then decide.
When you hang from a gibbet.
What's a giblet?
No, not giblet. What he said was gibbet.
Theoden, Postmaster.
Also, horses are great too. What is his deal with animals?
You know, I was going to ask you the same thing. What's this obsession you have with animals?
Do elves not drink? Is he like, what is this? Seems really confused by the concept of a drinking game.
Yes, you can drink without being aware of the concept of a drinking game. Elves were a little higher class, in today's language, than the Rohirrim. They drank wine, as opposed to the ale that these guys are quaffing. So no, they probably wouldn't be aware of drinking games. It's not posh.
What happened? What did they see?
They saw each other. Let me give you a simple 3-step road to understanding. 1, watch the movie. 2, pay attention to what you're watching. 3, think about what you're watching, especially in relation to previous events. Gandalf knows Pippin. He knows Pippin has a curiosity streak that would kill a dozen cats. He knows Pippin is just dying to have a look at that Palantir, regardless of how dangerous it is. And Pippin knows he knows.
Oh, are his pupils like... Have his eyes always done that? I've never noticed that until now.
Yes. Whenever Gollum has a discussion with Sméagol, his pupils change according to which personality is speaking.
What did you see? What did he see? What happened? He touched the thing, something happened, and there's... What?
The Palantir, or the thing, as you put it, is weighing heavily on Pippin's mind.
Come on, dude, what's going on? Yeah, Pippin, what is going on? Is he awake? Oh my god. What is he doing? Oh, it doesn't seem great. What is happening? Oh my god. Oh, Pippin! Mary, slap him! Stop it, do something! Oh my god! Gandalf, wake up! Oh my god! Oh! Oh, it's gonna be not good. Wherever it goes. Oh! Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god, he better be okay. Oh, okay.
Forgive me. What did you see?
I saw him.
Who?
Bozo the Clown. Think, woman, think. Who on earth, this one or that one, would it possibly be?
A broil of fume he sends ahead of his house.
I still don't get who Sauron is.
He's the bad guy. Go back and watch the prologue again, and this time, pay attention.
So are there just people standing at the top of these mountains 24/7 every day, waiting to light the beacon if need be?
Of course there are. Do you have any idea how long it takes to climb one of those mountains? What sense would it make to not send somebody up there until the emergency happens? Country would be totally wiped out by the time they got there.
On the 3rd, we ride for Gondor and war.
Wait, the 3rd day? You're gonna take 2 whole days to gather? How long does it take to get to this place? The troops are on the move now! Oh my god.
Tolkien wasn't always that hot on things like travel times and distances, but boy, you make him look like a genius. Look, we're dealing with an area roughly, the state of Wyoming. People scattered all over the place. Now, you've got to send message writers out to gather them and bring them back. Now, if all your horses were galloping full speed for 10 hours a day, you might make it back in 2 days, but probably not. And if you did, what you'd have is 1,000 dead horses. And you wouldn't like that, would you?
Oh, I see what he was saying. They were leaving immediately, but it's gonna take 3 days for them to get there.
Well, you're half right. Everybody in the city is leaving today, and they're heading for a place called Dunharrow, which is an advanced encampment. All the people from the outlying districts will meet them there in 2 days. Then everybody will head for Gondor, and that's another 3-day gallop, according to Theoden. Your precious horses are barely going to make it. It's just too much for them.
Are Nazgul just like evil dragons? I mean, I feel like all dragons must be terrifying, but these just look like demon dragons.
Well, wrong on 2 counts. Nazgul are the riders, the ring wraiths. What they are riding on have no name but beasts. And they are definitely not dragons, as I've said before. Dragons are specific creatures now extinct in Middle-earth. These are not dragons.
How did he make it past all those orcs?
That's a question a lot of people would like answered. Another Jackson addition to the saga that just doesn't make sense from a story standpoint. It just looks good, which is all he cares about.
I mean, to be fair, like, where is everybody else? Like Rowan and Theoden? I don't know if I'm saying that right. But like all the other cities.
Sorry, there aren't any others in the movie. There's a few others in the book, but we're not talking about the book. But Rohan's on the way.
Orlando Bloom was in 2 movies around the same time with creepy ghost pirates or creepy dead armies.
And what, pray tell, does that have to do with anything?
He suddenly knows Elvish?
He's known some Elvish for years, which he learned from Bilbo, who remained friendly with the elves after the days of The Hobbit. Plus, that magic vial would have helped him along in this case.
Oh, God. Does his dad just want to kill him?
Well, that might be slightly open to interpretation. Most likely, though, Denethor's grasp of reality at this point is non-existent, and he thinks Faramir's already dead. He wants to kill himself and dispose of both bodies on a pyre, quote, like the heathen kings of old, unquote. Most of this is based on what's in the movie. The book, of course, generally contradicts most of it.
I feel bad for the elephants, but I guess they're bad.
It's war. Elephants die in war. But they're CGI, so what difference does it make?
I feel really bad for these elephants, I'm not gonna lie, because, like, again, they're just like the horses. They don't want to be here.
They're computer graphics. They have no feelings. What is wrong with you?
But you can't kill him. That's the problem. You can't. They said that you can't.
You know, the Witch King himself misquoted it.
You fool. No man can kill me.
But the ancient prophecy is, quote, no living man, unquote, could kill him.
I know.
Die now.
Can a ghost kill him?
So, yes, a ghost could. A hobbit could, or at least could help. And in a triumph of semantics, a woman could.
I am woman.
Get him a woman. I thought they said that actually no human could kill them.
No one ever said no human.
Is that her dad? Is she now fighting? Is she literally slaughtering people for her dad?
Her uncle. What movie have you been watching?
God, is that really a good hiding spot? That's like an awful hiding spot.
You're so smart. Find them a better one.
What do you mean the eagles are coming? Where did they come from? It's in the middle of nowhere. But yes, take out those ring wraiths.
Another assumption. This time, both Jackson and Tolkien himself thought that you knew that the eagles played a fairly big part in The Hobbit, and their leader rescued Gandalf from Saruman's tower. But there's nothing else that would lead you to expect them.
Why didn't he do it? Why didn't he do it?
In Tolkien's own words, quote, at the last moment, the pressure of the ring would reach its maximum. Impossible, I should have said, for anyone to resist. Certainly after long possession, months of increasing torment, and when starved and exhausted, Frodo had done what he could and spent himself completely, unquote. Frodo had become so weakened by his experiences that the ring was able to overwhelm him entirely.
Where are they going, though? I don't understand. He wasn't happy at the Shire and he wanted to leave. I don't understand why. I don't understand where they're going.
You don't understand because you haven't paid close enough attention and or don't remember a lot of what you've been told, which after 12 hours is understandable. We were told countless times that the elves were leaving Middle-earth and sailing west to their homeland across the sea. In the covered wagon on the way to the havens, Frodo says that Bilbo was accorded a special honor and was allowed to join them. There's no single specific passage that said Frodo was going as well, but there were many hints. Back in Rivendell, Gandalf remarks to Elrond that Frodo's wound would never fully heal. And just before the ride to the havens, Frodo reflects, and I quote, "How do you pick up the threads of an old life? How do you go on? In your heart, you begin to understand. There is no going back. There are some things that time cannot mend. Some hurts that go too deep, that have taken hold." Unquote. Then he mentions to Sam that it's been 4 years to the day since the attack on Weathertop, and that the wound has never really healed. I would think that should answer your question.
I didn't realize that anyone could come on this trip. I thought this was just elves.
Once again, you're just not paying attention.
The elves have accorded you a special honor. A place on the last ship to leave Middle-earth.
And likewise Frodo, both of them being ring-bearers. And Frodo, of course, suffering such grievous wounds during his quest.
And that should do it. I really don't have anything to add, except this has been a lot of fun. And it let me get a few things off my chest that have been annoying me. Thanks to the few who actually watch this, and do the whole YouTube support routine, or better yet, buy me a coffee. It does me a lot more good.